first of all, tell me who you are and where you're from.
Okay, my name is Amy Collins. I live in Jonesboro, and I just finished up my master's at ETSU, and this was my master's site.
Oh, okay.
in
Is that what they call
geophysics.
the thesis?
Thesis, yeah.
So
This
what was your thesis on?
My thesis was mapping the 1780s structures here at Amy Mill.
Oh, okay.
So I got my master's in geosciences, and specifically using geophysics to study archaeology,
Oh, okay.
archaeological sites.
All right. So
Yeah.
what did you find out about Amy Mill?
So Amy Mill, I investigated the history first and looked at everything that we had about Amy Mill from a historical perspective. And then we did geophysics, and
Is that what we see here?
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Maybe I should sit over here.
okay, so we used, this is GPR, ground penetrating radar. We also did EMI, or electromagnetic induction, and magnetometry here at the site. We also flew several different types of drones, and so let me pull this up. The internet is a little slow, so it
I
takes
can
a
imagine.
minute to pull it up. But this is Amy Mill, and this was our grid that we used. And these are the areas that we investigated with geophysics. We also flew several different types of drones over the area. We flew thermal imaging, multispectral, LiDAR drones, to look at plant health, to look at the, with LiDAR we can look beneath the trees to see what's there. And with thermal, we can look to see how much heat the different areas of the ground were finding. We didn't find much with multispectral or thermal, but we did with the LiDAR.
Okay.
And we had several, I don't know how much detail you want me
Well,
to go into.
I think it'd be interesting. What did you learn? What shocked Jake the most, would you say, that you learned?
So, Jake was expecting to find slave cabins, which we did.
Okay.
We found those.
Oh,
We
where are
found-
those at?
These are over here. So we actually found a fourth structure here, but based on the size, it's bigger than slave cabins were in this area, than cabins have been enslaved in this area of Tennessee. So we think this was just another outbuilding. But one thing that we found that Jake was not expecting is we found a large structure here that appeared to have a cellar. And based on that, we think it could be the original tavern, because we didn't know where the tavern was. And it was a pretty large building. So
And how do you know that was a building? Is the foundation still there, or?
so if you let me find that one. So the foundation's not there. When you look at it, you don't really see too much. If you're just walking out in the field, you wouldn't notice anything different. But when we did GPR, we could see that there was kind of something that appeared to be rectangular here, or square. And then we saw something much deeper. This is when you see the red, that means that it's quite different from things that around it. That's a very strong signal with GPR. This is about a meter to a meter, 1.2 meters underground, which is roughly about 3.5 feet.
Does that mean, is that like an indication that it's like fill or something? It's not original topsoil?
It's not original topsoil. That's what we can tell. What it's doing is it's sending a radar signal from one antenna to another, and it's measuring how long it takes. And based on that, we can kind of figure out what's going on beneath the ground.
Okay. Well, I guess you've probably heard it. I guess it was right over here. the tree that fell over and all the tools.
Yeah, all of these tools that Peter.
Did you find any metal or any kind of artifacts?
We did find a few things. Now, we were not doing a lot of digging. We did some testing with augers just to put in the ground to more look at the soil, because with the soil, that's what you can tell based on the color of the soil and what it looks like, whether or not it's culturally changed or whether it's naturally occurring like that. So that was more what we were looking for. But in this field, we did find a couple of things, and I have some pictures.
Okay.
And this is with LiDAR. This is where we saw that big square.
Right.
That is the rectangle there. We saw it really with all of the different equipment that we use. But when we were digging, let me get down here.
Oh, I see.
We found this, and this is showing how big it is. These are centimeters. But I worked with another archaeologist who specializes in metal, and he said most likely, he said it could be rusty cast iron, but he thought it looked like a Civil War projectile.
Oh, okay.
Part of a cannonball.
Yeah, well, there was a battle here.
Yeah, there was a battle like less than a mile down the
Right.
road, Big Creek.
Might have had a little stray cannon hit over here.
And we also found here, this is a quartz drill.
Oh.
So that was found, but we were just digging really with augers that were about this big around, just trying to kind of look more at the soil colors and the soil type to determine, okay, where do things change? How far down does this go?
All right. So you found a building that may or may not be the tavern.
Yeah.
You found some slave quarters and an outbuilding. Was there anything else?
We found other things too, but we could not, based on the testing that we did, confirm necessarily that that's what they were. These were the ones that we truly believe, based on all the testing that we did and based on everything else that we saw, were really what we thought they were. Yeah.
And what about the cemetery?
We did actually.
Because I know there's a lot of graves there that are unidentified.
Yeah.
And I don't think they actually even know where Captain Amy is.
They don't. They do have a mark for Amy, but it was put up in the 2000s by the DAR.
Right.
This is the cemetery. We did some drone surveys in here, and then we also did GPR. And GPR in a cemetery can give you some really good information about where empty graves are. I mean, basically, you're going to see where spots where the soil changes.
Right.
So we were able to find about 27 areas that we think are graves.
Wow.
And this is based on the depth, the different colors here.
They weren't previously identified as graves?
That weren't previously identified. So these are the actual graves.
Yeah, that's what you know.
That we know that are actually identified. And then these red stars are where you see little stones, little pieces of stones.
But you don't know who they are.
We don't know who they are. We also don't know if they've been moved, because Jake said when he bought the property, the cemetery was in bad shape. He cleaned it up a lot. But he said a lot of these stones were just laying around. Now, if you look, you'll see a lot of little trees right around this area. So our GPR did not give us really good results right around here, so there were probably more graves in here. But where we could get the GPR survey done, we did find a lot of places that we felt like there were graves.
But who they are will probably never be known.
We'll never know. I do have, I don't know if I have it on here, it may just be in my thesis itself, but we have information from death certificates, other things of people that are buried here. But it's not 27 people. We have a list of about, beyond this group here.
Well, it might have been
actually
people that they
labeled.
weren't really concerned about identifying.
True.
The people that lived in the houses you found.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a good summary of what you found out. Is there anything that really surprised you or shocked you that you're like, wow, this is a major discovery?
We had so much written information about the property. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but in the archives in Knoxville, they actually have the property ledgers from the store.
Oh, wow.
So we know so much about what was produced here and sold here. You know, the mills, the distillery, the brewery, you know, everything that they had here that we weren't really super surprised with what we found. I actually, at the beginning, expected to find more Native American stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and what I found from doing the research, well, one cool thing, I didn't mention this. One of the things that we found, this is actually LiDAR footage here, and this is the road that runs on the other side here.
The Wilderness Trail?
The Wilderness Trail.
Yeah.
And what we found, it's actually not the Wilderness Trail, it's the Great Wagon Trail.
Yeah.
In Kingsport, the Wilderness Trail actually went up kind of through the Cumberland Gap into Kentucky. It was not, this kind of goes in a different direction from that. But this was the Great Wagon Trail that came through Virginia. That was originally the Great Warrior Path for the Native Americans.
Okay.
And we were able to, find pretty good evidence in both the historical documents and in the geophysics that we did here that this is truly that same path. And we also found that there were probably Native Americans here thousands of years ago, but during the time that you had the Creeks and the Cherokee, this area was considered neutral territory. So there were no actual Creek or Cherokee settlements right here.
This was hunting area.
This was hunting and trading ground.
Okay.
So this was considered neutral territory. He's finding all kinds of artifacts are just showing up today, sitting on the ground. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, this whole will happen now that you complete this study.
So what I'm hoping is that somebody will do a full excavation on some of the things that we found, perhaps on one of the cabins, on the tavern, and we can uncover more information about how the people here lived. We can say, okay, here was where it was based on the type of work that we did, but uncovering objects that people use can give you much more information about history.
It's a good chance their garbage ended up underneath their houses, and their garbage is treasure now.
It really is.
Yeah.
And we started actually over on the store site because of some of the landscaping over there in the arbor. We weren't able to find exactly the footprint of the store, but we found an area that we believed was a midden or a trash site. And we started digging. It was snowing that day, so we ended up kind of stopping earlier than we had planned. This was back last February, but we believe that was probably the rubble from the store where the store fell down, and that they just created a midden on top of it. And most of what we found was early 20th century, but I think going down further there too, you can find probably some of the types of stuff that was possibly sold at the store.
Right. Do you think that was the original store?
Yeah, based on the information we have, that's where he actually had the store, where the store was
Where
located.
is that on the map?
So if you look on this map, that's outlined in yellow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
This was a tavern, this was a store, this was an outbuilding, and this is
Slave quarters.
cabins
Yeah.
enslaved. Yeah.
And that is the house. So where are we sitting right now on this map?
We are like right over here.
Yeah. Is this an older thing or?
So this is actually, I took a drone shot and I photoshopped out everything that was not 1780s.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. It doesn't look right.
Yeah, I have that. If you go under property description here, you can see what the original map. It's gonna take a minute for it to come up. So let me go down here. So this is what it actually looks like today.
Right.
And then this is taking out everything but those 1780s buildings.
Right. Okay. Alrighty.
Yeah.